looking at you, my brother, and I say this affectionately. You might be one of the dumbest folks on the planet Earth.
I don't have to apologize, but I'm going to do it one final time tonight, and I won't apologize again. I'm sorry that I upstaged you.
Imagine being a 57-year-old retired NFL superstar worth millions of dollars, has 2 daughters and a son, works for ESPN, and you throw away your whole reputation because you wanted to go mess around with an OF model that is 30 years younger than you, bro.
Right now, the internet is watching Shannon Sharpe fall apart, and Stephen A. Smith isn't holding back. He just clowned Shannon on national TV, exposed what really went down behind the scenes at ESPN, and low-key made it clear that Shannon's career might be dead in the water. And the worst part? Shannon did all of this to himself. So this resurfaced clip of Stephen A. Smith addressing the Shannon Sharpe situation has been making the rounds, and it's got the entire internet buzzing.
I'm not going to speak to one's innocence or one's guilt about something I have absolutely positively no knowledge of whatsoever. Do I believe that Shannon Sharpe is guilty of what he has been accused of? Absolutely not. That is my personal opinion. The brother that I've come to know, I don't believe would assault or rape anybody. And I'm going to state that emphatically. But just as emphatically, I'm going to remind everybody it is my opinion because of what I feel about.
But it's not just because of Stephen's cutting sarcasm in the video. It's because he made it crystal clear that he's not on Shannon's side. He believes Shannon's career will never recover from the damage it took after getting caught up in all these shady situations. The clip had fans raising their eyebrows and asking questions like, is Stephen trying to sabotage Shannon on purpose? Did Stephen know about some corporate power moves at ESPN that the rest of us don't? Or is this just straight-up jealousy? Well, it didn't take long for fans to get their answers, and what they discovered told a sad, disturbing story about Shannon Sharpe that the world wasn't ready to hear. Anyone who's been following Shannon's situation knows that he went from being everyone's favorite uncle to one of the corniest guys on the internet after being slammed with multiple scandalous lawsuits. But what a lot of people don't know is that after settling the recent lawsuit filed by OnlyFans model Gabrielle Zuniga, Shannon was left penniless and drowning in massive debt. And the one person who caught on to that quickly, Stephen A. Smith. Stephen didn't hold back. He went on air and spent nearly 20 minutes bashing Shannon for getting himself into that mess. He tried to sound like he had Shannon's back, but fans could tell he was struggling to keep it neutral. From the tone, the smirk, and the way he phrased things, it almost felt like he was gloating over Shannon going broke and watching his reputation crumble.
ESPN and Disney have a wait-and-see attitude when it comes to whatever evidence they may learn about this entire situation involving Shannon Sharpe from a legal and from a civil perspective. What they didn't need as it pertains to those two things that I just mentioned.
But here's where it gets wild. Just a few months before all this, Shannon could have never predicted how fast things would fall off the rails. After landing that explosive Cat Williams interview, his Club Shay Shay podcast became the most viewed show on YouTube. On top of that, Front Office Sports reported in April 2025 that Shannon was set to sign a $100 million contract for his podcast, breaking records for athlete-driven media. Combined with his ESPN appearances and other business ventures, Shannon was practically ruling the world of sports media, but that's exactly when everything started to fall apart. As y'all know, Shannon got hit with that graphic lawsuit filed by OnlyFans model Gabrielle Zuniga a few months back. But here's the crazy part. Stephen A. Smith apparently already knew about the lawsuit before it was made public. So when Stephen made those shady, backhanded comments about Shannon on air, he wasn't just clowning him for fun, he was speaking from verified facts. And based on those facts, anyone could have seen that Shannon's days at ESPN were numbered. However, that wasn't even the worst of it. Gabby's initial demand was $50 million, and Shannon's response? He practically laughed at the idea of paying her a single dime over what he called a money shakedown. In fact, he even threatened to sue Gabby and her lawyer, Tony Busby, for extortion and defamation. And from what anyone could tell at the time, Shannon looked confident. In this clip, he's calm, collected, and completely convinced he's untouchable.
have him on the airwaves while all of that stuff was put out there was not something that Disney was going to take. That is what I mean when I say I'm not surprised.
And then things took a darker turn. Disturbing audio recordings allegedly featuring Shannon and Gabrielle leaked online, and the internet completely lost it. The clip spread like wildfire, and it's not hard to understand why. In the first recording, you can hear Shannon allegedly threatening to do violent things to Gabrielle. In the second, the tone shifts. You can actually hear the fear in Gabby's voice, like she's terrified that Shannon might really hurt her.
Supporters and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you.
After those clips dropped, Stephen A. Smith decided he could no longer stay silent about the Shannon Sharpe situation. And guys, he went in. Now y'all know Stephen and Shannon go way back. Stephen was actually the one who helped Shannon land his gig with Fox, and the two have been friends and colleagues for years. With that history in mind, people expected Stephen to defend Shannon, or at least stay neutral, until the trial and settlement played out. But Stephen shocked everyone when he went live and made it clear that Shannon might not be as innocent as people once thought.
Couple of things. Number one, I was not there. I can provide no eyewitness account. And even though I got love and respect for Shannon Sharpe, and I'm sincerely hopeful and prayerful that he is completely innocent of the allegations that have been levied against him, I can't sit here and speak to his innocence or guilt.
But he didn't stop there. Stephen then went ahead and blamed Shannon for engaging in reckless behavior that he knew could potentially ruin his career. He even bragged that you would never catch him playing the same silly games Shannon loved so much. Now, Stephen didn't go into much more detail, but it was pretty clear what he was referring to: Shannon's multiple public escapades with much younger white women. But that's not even the half of it. Here's where things get more intense. Fans were left stunned when it was reported that Shannon had agreed to settle Gabby's lawsuit out of court. Remember, this was the same man who had been shouting from the rooftops that he'd never give her a dime. The exact settlement figures were never made public, but according to insiders, it could have been very close to the $50 million Gabby initially demanded. And this settlement hit Shannon's finances harder than anyone expected. Not only did he have to part with tens of millions of dollars, but he also had heavy legal bills to settle after everything went down. To make matters worse, Gabby popped up afterward with a statement announcing she was retiring from OAF following Shannon's settlement. People could tell how thrilled she was about it. She didn't mention the lawsuit, didn't speak about healing, and didn't acknowledge any other victims. Sure, she doesn't owe anyone an explanation, but a lot of people felt like she got exactly what she wanted: a massive payday. The fact that she said she was truly excited for this next chapter didn't help either. It left people wondering, did she set Shannon up? And if she didn't, just how damning was the evidence against him that he went from threatening to sue her to settling for that huge amount? As for Shannon, this was only the beginning of his downward spiral. Things got even darker when skeletons from his past started resurfacing, painting a troubling picture of the kind of man he really is. It turned out that Gabby Zuniga wasn't the first woman to sue Shannon for inappropriate behavior. His ex, Michelle Evans, had filed a similar lawsuit years ago, accusations that dated back nearly a decade. And guess what? Michelle is back with another lawsuit, this time accusing Shannon of defamation and demanding $16 million. The worst part? From the looks of it, Shannon might actually have to cough up that money, because Michelle has receipts that could bury him for good.
Call whenever they need help. He didn't even want to pay for his own, I believe it was his daughter's wedding. He was a willing participant. He was a willing participant in every single thing that he did, and I don't feel sorry for him. The universe sent him signs. Cat Williams tried to warn him. He said it takes 2 weekends. Monique tried to warn him that him now, at the age of 57, shouldn't be messing with...
Shannon, this could have all been avoided if you just listened to Kat and Monique. They were literally sitting right beside you. dropping wisdom meant for you, and you laughed it off. Now everyone's asking the same question. Could Shannon really have avoided this downfall? Or was he set up from the very beginning? Then just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse, Shannon got served with a termination letter from ESPN. For those who don't know, Shannon's role as co-host of First Take was by far his most lucrative gig. But once news broke that he had quietly settled the lawsuit for that enormous amount, the higher-ups at ESPN decided it was time to cut ties, and they did it quietly. No public statements. No social media drama. No emotional farewell segment. Just a short, cold email saying they'd be parting ways moving forward. According to insiders, Shannon was devastated when he got the news. Losing that job wasn't just another career setback. It was the final sign that Shannon Sharpe had lost it all. His credibility, his reputation, and now his main source of income. And the worst part? His bank accounts are reportedly deep in the red, but here's where it gets even more embarrassing. It's not just his job that's in jeopardy. Shannon's podcast numbers have plummeted. Sponsors have gone silent. His merch line is delayed. And word on the street is that he's been trying to sell off pieces of his real estate portfolio, including that flashy Atlanta mansion he used to flex on Instagram. At this point, it looks like Shannon is throwing everything at the wall, just hoping something sticks, and fans are starting to piece it all together. But then, it got even worse. Stephen A. Smith unfollowed Shannon on Instagram.